What's up, everyone? We are back. We have some good news. We were renewed by our sponsors for season 2 of Red Couch Conversations. Yes.
Exactly.
We were on the cusp of getting canceled or being renewed. We had to wait for the last episode, so.
Sponsored by coffee.
We are back. Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, wow, a little sideways today. So how's everyone doing? It's good to be back over
I'm
here.
good. I'm good.
You're doing great?
Yeah.
Good. Glad to hear. Today's conversation.
Yes.
We're going to talk about, oh my gosh, eating healthy is so expensive.
Yes. Yes.
just
Before
can't.
we get to that,
I love that.
who are you?
Oh.
What do we do for the people who for somehow missed our...
Yes, in case you don't know who we are, and it's your first time watching. My name is Melissa,
And I'm Gregory.
and we are Rise Conscious Fitness, and we help people get the most out of life by improving their nutrition, their movement. What?
That was my thing.
Oh, sorry, I stole your
It's
line.
okay, go ahead.
Oh, crap. And improving their mindset approach behind how they approach to health and fitness, right? And so we have a very holistic approach. I'm losing my words this
Blah,
morning.
blah, blah.
Right? We have a very holistic approach to health and fitness. We really want to help you guys creating a more positive approach to all this so it can become a very sustainable way of living.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be suffering. It's more happy.
Yeah, you don't have to suffer.
Yeah.
It's not fun. So let's make it fun and joyful. So, all right. So one of the topic today is kind of a myth. We want to debunk that myth, right?
Yes.
We're into myth debunking right now. It's the early January.
Yeah.
People are still talking about New Year's resolution. A lot of people are trying to change, things. They're trying to get healthier, get in the gym, get moving, which is great. We want to encourage you guys to do that because your health is super important. We do value health a lot. This is one of our core values. But we want to help you out with that. So
It's the foundation of everything. Health.
It's a big pillar.
Pillar.
Yeah. Pillar.
Pillow.
Pillar. All right. So the one thing that we hear a lot is eating healthy is expensive, right? So it's like already defeated approach of, well, I want to be healthier, but eating healthy is so
The
expensive.
but. Here comes the but.
Yeah.
I love you, but...
Eating healthy is expensive. All right, so let's talk about that because we want to give you guys, hopefully, if this is how you feel about eating healthy, hopefully this video will give you some tips on how not to feel.
Some new perspective.
Yeah, new perspectives. Right, that's the idea. If you are already eating healthy and it works for you, then wonderful. Hopefully you can share that video with people you know that might need it.
Share.
There we go. All right, so what's the matter with this? Why do people say that?
You have to ask people who say it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, okay, so I think
I think it comes down to the lack of education.
Well, yeah, if you look at it, but really, it's context, right? Let's put it in context because I think if you're very much aware of what's happening and you've been paying attention and you're taking time to read and you're doing work on yourself and all of that, you probably know that we kind of live in a paradigm where the society tends to make people believe that eating healthy is expensive, right? There's some truth to it, but let's go into this because it doesn't have to be this way. Because you'll see like ads, which I don't watch TV, but I know people will see like there's ads and commercials everywhere and papers and magazines and where they'll promote like 99-cent burgers at McDonald's or whatever. I don't.
We can't say McDonaldsons.
Exactly.
They don't want to get sued.
Well, okay.
McDonaldsons.
So to like fast food stores or anywhere, right? So really good deals, and people say, oh, it's so much cheaper to grab like
a Happy Meal, which is like $1. You get like large fries.
Yeah, the whole shebang for $3.
Yeah.
Right, versus going to Whole Foods.
You see like kale for like $5.
Yeah.
A lettuce head.
This is great. This is wonderful. And so, of course, if you just look at this from the outside, it's like, oh yeah, the comparison is pretty straightforward, right? I have $3 versus $5. It's cheaper. Well, there's much more to this, right? So let's talk about that. So we are kind of led to believe, if we're not stopping to think and question this, we're really led to believe that like eating junk food or fast food or, those quick meals already prepared type of food are less expensive. Let's talk about why this is not the truth and how to go around that, right? Okay, so the one thing we talk about with our clients is let's talk about the big picture because this is something that, we kind of all know, but sometimes we kind of forget to think about. But it's really important to know, okay, what is your big picture for the future? because when it comes down to your health, if you don't invest now, it's going to be much more harder in the
Just
future.
go with it.
I'm not going to go. I'm struggling this morning. Much harder in the future to go back and try to undo all the harm, right? Because if you're not eating healthy now, you're not taking care of your body. You know, if you get to 40, 50, 60, yeah.
Well, you're getting to this, but I was just gonna drive home the point.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll
Well,
drive it out.
Okay, so you understand, right? So the whole idea is like it gets much harder as you get older.
It gets much harder because it's an accumulation of what you've been doing for so long. It's not just all of a sudden you're 40 and 50 and then you droop, or it's what you've been doing for the accumulation that causes it.
Because that's a quick fix mentality. Like people think like, you're going to be eating like not so well for 30 years, and you think like all of a sudden you want to get healthier, and in 3 months you'll reach your healthy goals. It's like,
yeah.
Well, you have years under your belt of not taking care of yourself. It takes time. So we need to, first of all, approach this in a very realistic way, right? And also, let's just plan for the future, because the whole idea is like, let's talk about your bigger vision. Because if you really want to be healthy, invest in yourself, right? We all know this, and I know you've heard that before. It's kind of cliche, but it's so important. Would you rather pay now for healthier foods and invest in yourself right now, and it doesn't have to be much more expensive, or would you have her deal with medical bills later on?
Yeah, and time
And when we talk about medical bills, we're talking about, especially in the U.S., medical bills are pretty outrageous, right?
Yeah.
And even if you have health insurance and all that, none of this means that you'll have it. None of this is like,
money and time. Money on bills, time.
This is just money. This is not the pain. Yeah, this is not like how it could shorten your life. This is not how it will tremendously affect the quality of your life and the things you can be potentially able to do. The reason why we're saying this is because we're seeing people that are there. This is our work. I mean, I've seen clients, young people, it's even like more devastating. But I've seen, older adults, 60, 70, 80, and it's like, if they haven't invested in their health, and then now they're talking about, well, I can't do this, and I really want to be able to play with my grandkids. I really want to be able to do these things, but they've never thought about it before. I mean, if you're young right now, even if you're not super young, but you're not dealing with those kinds of health issues, tackle it right now. Like, make sure that this becomes a priority, because there's nothing like investing. It's so much better to invest in yourself, be proactive, than to try to be reactive when things starts falling down. Because when things start going down, it's been, like you said, a cumulative effect of the years. It's not going to be reversed right away, and sometimes it's not reversible. So and I know, like, people kind of know this, and it's cliche and we've heard it, but
until it happens,
we
it
need to
doesn't
keep
really
that
affect
perspective. And we're not saying this to scare you guys. It's really just important to not forget about that perspective. So people was like, oh, I'm going to save money by buying all these food here and there, and I'm not going to buy organic. I'm just going to buy all these packaged food because they're cheaper. And yet they don't think about, the money they'll have to spend later on other problems. And these are not fun, right? These are really not fun problems to have to deal with and pay for and all of that. Because when you're in pain and you're sick and you're ill, or potentially your kids or people around you because you haven't invested in your health, that's a bigger problem. So that's something just to reflect on. We normally don't go that route to try to make people feel bad, but that's something to really keep in mind, because I think it's important to get perspective on things. Now, that's the biggest thing. The other thing too is, we'll get clients that are very busy, busy professionals and things like that, and it's like, well, eating healthy is expensive, and I don't have time to prep my food, because the time kind of the time equation ties into this too. And I love it. And these are generally the people that will go to work every day unprepared, and they'll just like stop at lunch break, and they'll drive somewhere to go eat at a restaurant, spend the money on food, not eating quality food, give tips on top of that,
spend the time parking,
spend all the time,
waiting
go
for
back.
Service.
So you spend 60 minutes, 90 minutes of your day going somewhere, spending gas, spending parking if you need to, spending money on food that's not even good for you most of the time, and tips. And then they're going to tell us, well, eating healthy is expensive. Well, of course, if you're really not counting and looking at your budget, all the money you're spending on restaurants and eating out, it really adds up. If you want to do this for yourself, and this is kind of your pattern right now, you don't buy healthy food at, the healthy stores because it's too expensive, because when you buy all the food it's like, oh, $300 for all my groceries, but then you add up all your restaurant bills at the end of the month, it's a whole lot of money. You might have to do the math, right? Because at the end of the day, that's the perspective you have. Look, I'm going to get a quick lunch here for $15, $20, $25 here and there. And if it happens every day, every other day, or even 3 times a week, it's a lot of money. You can buy a whole grocery for like $75, $100 a week if you're only one person, if you're smart. Okay?
Even less.
Yeah, even less than that. I mean, honestly, it really depends on you and what you eat and what you like, but it doesn't have to be expensive. Okay, so just think about the other things, because you need to put things in context. It's not just, yeah, of course, if you go to Whole Foods and you spend $200 on healthy organic food, it seems like an expensive bill. But if you add up all of your restaurants or eating out, and that's not even talking about social drinks, because a lot of people go out and spend, I mean, drinks are so expensive. They're like, I don't know, $6. If you're in New York, it's $12 a drink.
Or their thing they always have time for and money for, which is their
priorities.
Their daily coffee.
Oh, the daily coffee.
From
Starbucks coffee and stuff like that. So, think about where your money is going, because sometimes, this is a money conversation because we're talking about like expensive food, but obviously we just need to get a little bit of a bigger picture, bigger perspective, because again, it's investing in yourself and for your health. And really it comes down to, is it important for you? Because quite honestly, the truth of all this is that if your health is important to you and eating healthy is one of your standards, you're going to focus on it and you're going to find ways to make it inexpensive. To you.
If your happiness, I would say too, is important to you. If you want to be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. It's all part of the equation. If it's important to you, you're going to make it work, because what you focus on expands, right? So if you want to be able to eat healthy, you're going to become resourceful about it. You're going to find the cheapest ways to buy organic foods. You're going to find ways to...
I was going to say, what you focus on expands. I would say that's why she's been focusing on her biceps a lot in the gym.
It expands. Exactly. It works, guys. But of course, if you keep telling yourself eating healthy is expensive, it's too complicated, or this, and if you're having a very defeated approach or kind of victim mentality towards that kind of stuff, of course it's going to feel like it, because all you're going to see is all the expensive price tags, and you're not going to see all the opportunities and possibilities of eating healthy, and not spending all the money.
And like it says, going back to the education, like if you educate yourself on, and we'll talk more about this in a bit, but what's healthy, what isn't, what you can look for, it dramatically reduces.
Yeah, you can be super smart about your food shopping, so we'll talk about that. Yeah. But really, what I wanted to cover first is that when it comes down to eating healthier and also prepping your food, right? So let's say you buy all your food ahead of time, so you plan, right? You plan, I'm going to go buy these foods. Of course, if you have a food list, when you go to the store, you know what to buy. You're not buying a tons of other things you don't need, so that will save you money. So you buy everything that's on your list, you go home, and of course you had an idea of what we're going to cook, so you already buy all the stuff you need. You start prepping your food. Can you imagine having like bulk food that even you can freeze, right? Because a lot of our clients, we recommend slow cookers and air fryers and all that stuff where you can make
baking.
Baking ahead of time and all that stuff. And can you imagine how much time you're going to save throughout the week when your food is all ready? Most of it, at least. Energy. The energy of just getting up and just trying to figure out, what am I going to eat next, because you weren't prepared, you didn't have a plan. Where am I going to go eat?
How many times have you been rushing out the door without eating and just grabbing a banana or an apple?
The stress that it causes, right? Because it's like, I'm starving because I wasn't prepared. Now you're becoming reactive. And plus, if you're low blood sugar, you're like, I'm just going to eat whatever I find. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are attracted to more fast food and junk food, because they're starving. They're not preparing themselves. They're not nourishing their bodies. And then the stress reaction of the body is like, give me food right now. I'll take anything, right? So if one of your goals this year is to get healthier and or lose weight or feel better or all of that, you need to start becoming more proactive. You need to start planning and preparing. So set yourself up for success. Plan, go to the grocery store, buy what you can afford, cook with what you can. There's a lot of tons of options that are inexpensive. We'll get to that. It's going to save you time, energy, stress, and money. Because if you think about it, if you go to the grocery store and you buy, everything at once, you prepare it, you have it for the week, and you don't have to eat out. I mean, it's amazing. You can save so much money. And you can feed your family with this. You can feed your kids. I mean, I do this with my son. Everything I prep,
I eat it all.
It's not. Oh my gosh. I can make healthy meals for him, and for me, it's peace of mind, because as a mother, it's so important that my son eats healthy food. So I want to make sure I always have something ready for him. Snacks are, and if you're very busy and you can afford a little bit more, to spend a little bit more money on food, then you can buy pre-cut stuff if you don't have time to cut everything, and you can buy already pre-packaged yogurt and things like that, as opposed to the big container, which will save you money. So that's different tips on that. So the idea here is to become proactive, to plan ahead, so you're not constantly reacting. Because remember, when you're reacting, you spend time, energy, stress, a lot of stress around that, and money, because you'll end up spending money on things you don't plan just because you weren't prepared. And we all been there, and you all understand what I'm talking about. So I'm sure you understand that concept. So, all right, let's talk about the misconceptions of like healthy food is expensive and why people think that. Because I think a lot of times we hear people like, well, Whole Foods is outrageous, right? You go to Whole Foods and everything is expensive. Okay, so while we, like stores, like health stores like this, and we do go there, don't get caught up into the whole marketing thing around health food, because there's a lot of organic labeled products or really fancy supplements and all that stuff that are listed as healthy and good for you. They're super expensive, and quite honestly, they don't do shit for your health.
Yeah,
They're not.
They do more
They're
harm.
gonna. Yeah, they do more harm for you. They're not helping you, and actually going to waste your money. So if this is your perception of what's expensive when it comes to health food,
which is why we go back to the education component. When you educate yourself, you can use it.
then you are right. Yeah, those $50 bottles of probiotics and all these like whey
fish
proteins
oils
and
packaged
multivitamins and these
whole
packaged
grain
it's just-
cereal. Like when you
Yeah.
know this stuff, then
Or-
you can make the conscious decision that okay, that's not really healthy. It's junk. I don't need it. I can buy real food.
Read the labels, because there are so many. And then don't get me wrong, like I love these stores, but most of the stuff I buy is not in the aisles, right? It's like around. We go in the produce section and all the milk and eggs and butter, and then the proteins and all that stuff. And I kind of go around the store. And you guys have probably heard this before. That's a tip.
The perimeter,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because really, that's where you're going to save money. And most of these packaged organic food, if you read the labels, there's probably one or two things that are good in the box, and the rest is like stuff you don't need.
If a food has to advertise how healthy it is for you to buy it,
It's not a good sign.
that's a sign that stay away. It's not healthy for you.
Okay, so read the labels, because what we're trying to say here is that it's not because it's organic that it's good for you, and it's like worth paying that price. And a lot of times it's actually not good for you. You're spending a lot of money, and it's such a waste. And it's kind of sad, because I think that's why I feel like in the past I've met clients that have tried to eat healthier. They would go to a health store and buy all these organic packaged foods because it's all labeled as organic. They don't read the labels, and then they're like, it just was so much money. And I'm like, but it's not even good for you.
But it says organic.
Right, and they get so frustrated with this whole process. And we understand it's a process. You need to educate yourself, but really, honestly, nothing in life that's worthwhile, doesn't require effort. So you need to put a little bit of effort into
deep.
learning. Huh?
That's deep.
It's deep. It's very deep thoughts.
It's philosophical view.
I'm telling you. So if your health is important, you're going to find the time. You're going to prioritize it. You're going to take baby steps towards learning. We can help you with that. There's people out there that are amazing that can help you with that.
Yeah.
But really, you don't need all these fancy organic packages. And a lot of times, I say organic, that's just an example, but you don't always need the organic version of everything. And that's something else too. If you want to save money, go online, check out the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. This is more for
It's a rock
produce.
band. The Dirty Dozens and the Clean
You can
15.
Google it, right? Be resourceful, Google it, find a list. Every year there's a new list. And these are the fruits and vegetables that you don't necessarily have to buy organic, and the ones that you have to buy organic, that's worth spending the money on.
Yeah, in short, it's basically the Dirty Dozen are the ones that are like most sprayed, like pesticides and
Yeah.
all that stuff, and then the Clean 15 are like stuff that's least sprayed, so you can get if you non-organic.
Yeah, because if you're on a budget, it's totally okay, right? We always tell people, do the best you can with what you have. Okay, if you're on a budget with food, there's a way to pick and choose the types of food you're going to be eating to save money, and there's a way to pick and choose, like, well, do you really have to buy organic everything? No, you don't have to. Okay, another thing to another tip here to save money is go to
Different stores. I think that's where you're going.
Shop around. Once you know where stuff is, well, sort of farmers markets too.
Oh yeah,
farmers markets are amazing.
Yeah.
We all have farmers markets around. Hopefully you do. Generally, you can get like how much potatoes? How much potatoes did you get for what?
Oh, I got 50 pounds.
50 pounds?
Yeah.
For how much?
$20.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I saved. So because throughout the summer I was buying from this farm, they hooked me up at the end of the farmers market. So I got 200 pounds of potatoes. Yeah, I think it was for $80.
Okay.
And I still have it. It's been saved.
I don't know if you know, but 200 pounds of potatoes, that's a whole lot of potatoes.
$7.99 at one place, and then at another place it's $5.99.
Yeah.
So, ipso facto, you do the math.
Mm.
But there's always
sounds complicated and long, but once you know it, you know it.
Yeah,
you don't have to do this every time,
Yeah,
right?
you don't have to worry about where's all the good deals. Once you already find it, you're
exactly. So there's that, right? And there's also, I just started using, because I have Amazon Prime, and a lot of you guys may have
Is a big thing we're about here. When
Yeah.
people start, you want to go slow. You don't want to go
Don't change everything overnight.
all or nothing, and then just throw everything out and then eat everything healthy, because it's not going to go well and it's not going to be sustainable.
And part of this is that it puts less pressure on you, and it gives you time to go around and find where are the best places to buy these foods that are less expensive. Start planning ahead and start slowly transitioning, your food pantry into something healthier. Start with one thing. Do you have, your circle of friends? Do you have friends around you that just always want to take you out to go eat and you spend money on restaurant foods? Or do they always want to go have a drink or two or three extra money you spend on? Is it serving you? Do you like it? And quite honestly, it's not about removing joyful experiences